John Polkinghorne is a name that many Christians throughout the world are very familiar with. He's 90 years old, lives in England. He was born in 1930, brilliant mathematician from when he's a child. Becomes a physicist, gets a doctoral degree by the mid-50s in the burgeoning quantum mechanics, the field of quantum mechanics. He's so smart. Quickly, Edinburgh University invites him to be a professor. Cambridge, he becomes a full-time professor at Cambridge. Brilliant, does this original work on the mathematical modeling for particle physics, gets his second doctoral degree in physics. Well into the 1970s, this man is at the height of his career. He's a powerhouse, he's an elite scientist, making these incredible original contributions in multiple fields of physics. And towards the end of the 70s, early 80s, about there, he shocks the community, the physics community, and leaves, and goes to study theology. He becomes an Anglican priest, which he still is. Writes these amazing books on the integration of faith in the sciences. And he speaks to something in us that he says the modern world, because of the burgeoning success of the sciences, which is a good thing, which is not a good thing, he says, have a wistful wariness when it comes to these fundamental tenets of the faith. A wistful wariness, right? Viewing everything through the lens of the empirical sciences, right? And who have difficulty believing in these fundamental tenets, the bodily resurrection of Jesus. Not as I said yesterday, it's not a resuscitation. It's something entirely new, unprecedented, the glorified body, right? Polkinghorne says the sciences have cast like a seed of doubt. And so many in modernity treat it like we're in a courtroom in a criminal case and the standard of proof is reasonable doubt. Oh, here's a little bit of reasonable doubt, right? So the wistful wariness. And he says that is not appropriate, that there's no contradiction. Here's a man, again, elite scientist who has a robust faith. His faith that his scientific knowledge, as he says, has aided him in his belief. A man who's delved into these great mysteries that have been exploding in the last 50, 100 years or so, and who says, wow, the God who made this reality, is it such a surprise that something like could happen, could be possible, the glorified body of Jesus? And what a beautiful marvel it is. What an amazing thing. The Gospels go out of their way. He's not a ghost on the one hand over here. On the other side, he's not just like, as I said yesterday, it's not like the raising of Lazarus, raising of Jairus' daughter, that they were brought back to the form they were before and got sick and eventually died. No, this is the glorified body. Somehow here, they could see him, they could touch him, he eats. And yet beyond that, he's got the wounds, but they don't affect him anymore. He's the same, and yet he's different. They struggle at first to recognize him. That's a glorified body. It takes a little while in a number of instances, right? Oh, when he says something, it's you. It's Jesus glorified, right? And that's the promise for us Christians. When we say the resurrection of the body in the creed, what we hope for is a glorified body in heaven with God, rejoicing with him and glorifying him, freed from all the constraints, and yet having all the beauty that goes with having a body and all kinds of stunning sensations to glorify God with. So we praise and thank God as we come to the end of this octave of Easter and hear about the glorified body of Jesus. And let this be, let's replace that reasonable doubt with an even greater reasonable hope. Amen.